But Cole Chisel came into Sydney for one of their first tours and supported Radio Birdman at the Manly Vale Hotel, which I don't think exists anymore. Yeah. So I remember we were just so paranoid we were going to be fucked over by venue management or bands or roadies, so we just did everything ourselves. We had this tiny little PA, this huge auditorium in Manly Vale Hotel, and Cole Chisel had set up like a 60-can light show, this huge I think it was called a double 40, double
four-way.
Double four-way.
Yeah, those big, heavy.
Freeway.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate.
One of those with road crew, and they said, you can use our PA, and we kind of looked at each other and said...
And that one light. Yeah, go.
And we thought, oh, no, these guys are trying to fuck us over. We're just so paranoid. No, you use your gear, we'll use our gear, and we just brought the one-column PA, put it on each side, and we just turned the house light on, like the little movie theatre light on. And we were fine. We had a mic in front of the kick drum, mic overhanging the snare. Nobody danced or carried on in front of Cole Chisel, but when Radio Birdman came on, it was a blitzkrieg. Wow. It was crazy. And the sound desk was in front of the stage. It was like only four channels. like the power of the band.
Right.
Really.
6 metre
work
cable.
It out. Freaking hell, like the power, the energy, the kinetic feeling in the audience. It was just... I've never seen anything like that before.
Right, it matched the city, perhaps. Yeah. It matched the people in the city at the time.
A new breed. There was a new race starting out, in Australia. The godfathers of punk in Australia, Radio Birdman,
Wow.
It's time to run the Barracuda!
Yeah! Everybody do now!
Do what, baby?
Come on and do the Barracuda!
G'day, viewers. This podcast was brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill-out drink. Sit back, relax, crack a can of good old Karma Koala, and just... Hey, on today's podcast, I speak to an absolute legend. I've got a lot of people excited to hear this one. Johnny Kannis, from Johnny Kannis and the Explosion, is his latest bit of rock and roll. But originally, he started way back with... Radio Birdman, and then the Hitmen, which is the real thing. A lot of guys I know that are really stoked to hear this episode because of this. I'm not going to bore you with my intro with such a legend on today, but the Hitman and Hitmen DTK put out some massive cult following records that everyone needs to hear, and they're joined with the beautiful Moggy Bentley. And Sean Millar, who's equally as beautiful. Sean Millar from, and brought to us by, brought to us by Celts Entertainment. Cal Miller brings us another big name bunch of rock and rollers here. Anyway, they're from Angel Awake, and they're joining Johnny Kannis in today's episode. Are you there, rock and rollers? Oh, yeah! With Drew.
Like
Crackin' hell yeah! Well, shit, I think we've started. Johnny Kannis, put it there.
Did you record that?
I got a bit of it.
Hey, Drew.
I didn't get enough of it.
I've heard a lot about you.
Look at you, you're a strong man. Sean Millar.
Actually, that was the wrong arm.
Howdy.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I'll put it on tape. G'day.
G'day.
Moggy.
Hey, Drew.
We have to get right in the mic on this because I'm trying not to record because we're all sound guys and musicians here. We're trying not to record the aircon. Okay,
We'll get right up in its business.
That's what I want. Yep. Now, so as rough as it is,
Good setup.
how are you? Yeah.
I'm good, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on the Gold Coast, God knows now, probably since... I used to travel here with the band, the Hitman, during the 80s. Moved here in 93, so I'm a regular here.
Really?
I'm a local yokel.
I was thinking today, I actually met you. I met you at do you remember the Crash and Burn nightclub?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Did you meet me that night with Billy?
Well, no, not with Billy, but I know Billy.
He owned the club.
At the time, yeah. And the gig.
The gig, yeah.
Yeah, the gig.
Wow.
Oh, Billy. Crazy Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know him enough to have an opinion about it, but he definitely paid our checks in the band I was in.
Oh, he paid his bills, Billy.
Yeah, he was a great guy, mate. He set us up. We had an CD launch at the gig. It was a real big sort of deal for us at the time. But the night I met you, I'm sure I wasn't actually speaking to you as much as did you know a French guy? A French lad, and he was actually, it was really late. We did a gig at Crash and Burn with a band Headlifter or something. We were travelling from Sydney. We're living in Sydney. And here were you legends, right? And it was blowing my mind that I was, and it was the French bloke that...
No.
Well, he was talking about France. It was one of my biggest regrets. It was this guy, I think we're all on stuff that makes you not sleep.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah. I've always thought back about this time, and he was like, I love your band. You know, we are travelling to France. This is Johnny Kannis. He's from Hitmen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep.
Jeez, I can't remember. I might have been on something too.
Possibly, mate. It must have been 2 a.m. Anyway, but we went back to Sydney, and I never chased up that guy's phone number.
You should have.
Yeah.
Who knows what he would have had to offer.
And here you are.
Yeah, here I am.
Magic.
23 years later.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Now, Billy, his family owned the Playroom on the Gold Coast.
Truly?
Yeah, the big Playroom.
I didn't know that. So who was Bev? Bev was the lady...
Bev Carnell. She started the whole thing, I think. I don't know. I can't go back pre-Carnell, but I can go forward to the Xantos family, the Billy Xantos family, his lovely father, Chris, who passed away the day that the bulldozers first came in to knock the place down. No. And I booked the bands there for him between 93 and 96.
Wow.
Baby Animals,
yep.
Hunters and Collectors, Hoodoo Gurus. Yeah.
Well, then I was in a band called Bull Rush then. So we did a bunch of shows then. Really? Yeah. Well, I was a rhythm guitarist.
Oh, right.
Dude, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, what agency were you through?
Well, we were...
Everyone.
Sure Thing. For in our earlier stages, but we were one of those bands that didn't know how to do it. You know, we just kept going and pulled the pin. No one really wanted us. But
you would have played the era of the beer barn and...
Oh, yeah.
Show up and there were people there no matter who you were.
Oh, yeah. We did lots of stuff with the Angels and Brent Eccles. We're at his house often. He was trying to make us the next Paw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he didn't get along with our singer.
Their drummer, I think, is up here. Or singer Cal, I can't remember.
Yeah, Gav.
Who books the
Gav, I was talking to him today.
Hotel.
That's it. Yeah. I did a gig with Jules from the Paw only a month ago. But enough about me.
I know two guys in the Paw as well.
I get the feeling we must have spoken. Yeah?
Yeah, we've probably bumped into each other many times.
Skinny, yep. Champion. What a front man.
James Young played drummed in a cover band with me back in Sydney. So.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, James. He's
Moggy's been in a lot of bands.
Yeah?
Yes.
No.
Well, let's say it. Hey, Moggy and Sean Millar, right? You're here because you actually... can you tell me the story?
Oh,
you can
I actually introduced them. That story, or why are they here on the Gold Coast today? Sean and I used to do some consulting work together, and he told me he played in a band, and he was giving me CDs. I'd take his CD home. He was called Hazel Eyes the Devil. Great name, I thought, and the songs were really good. He says, we're playing up the road. Next time we play up the road, come and see me. And I think it was mid 2000, 2005, 2007.
Something like that, yeah. When we were working together.
Yeah.
Get right on the show.
Like 2009? Because it would have been... Because we met in 2010 on that tour.
Yeah. So I grabbed the CD and I thought, wow, this is really good. This is just this guy with his songs, his acoustic guitar, and he had something to say. And I went and saw him up at the Hard Rock Cafe and I was just blown away. What was the song that everybody used to chant?
Daddy's Little Girl, I think, was the flagship song.
Is that the one with the booze and the drinking?
Oh, no, that's called the drinking song to everybody else, but it is actually, it's called Die With A Smile. It's a song with, you can play a little bit of a game to it. Mentions a whole bunch of different alcohols and you can... lose your shit when your alcohol comes up.
And he packed it out. It was packed, and we were like singing along. And the next day, when we met up again, I said, "We're doing a tour. You should come on the road with us." And because you need to know people in this industry to get a break, kind of thing. And I thought,
as the Hitmen,
were touring with a lady from Detroit called Niagara, and I met her in '93, when I brought them out to Australia through the Frontier Touring Company, I worked for Harbour Agency for a while there, and we became really, really good friends because my roots are kind of like Detroit, MC5, Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Radio Birdman, and she was friends with Dennis Tech, the songwriter, lead guitarist of Radio Birdman. So I kept that connection going, and over the years, we're trying to find a way for her to come to Australia. And she had a new band called Dark Carnival, so I toured her. We did really well, kept in contact. She's an artist. She paints, and she had an exhibition in Melbourne. I thought, why don't we do some shows at the same time? Did you come to that exhibition?
No, I didn't get to see any of her artwork, I don't think.
I wonder why. I wonder where you were.
Well, it wasn't with me then.
You were on the road, but I don't know where you were. You were with the crew somewhere. The crew took him under his arms. But anyway, we're playing. I just started sort of talking to Moggy again after a few years, and we were invited you to the show.
Yeah, what happened was I think you'd seen a photo of me and Andrew Anderson together on Facebook.
That's right.
And you asked how I knew him and that I'd done a show with him because our band would play at Summer Nats, which is a big car festival in Canberra. And we did 8 years headlining that. And, we did a show, and you asked me about how I knew Andrew.
8 years headlining Summer Nats?
Yeah.
What band?
The Sugar Cats. Sugar Cats, which is actually a cover band.
That's a massive festival.
It's all like a three-front girl cover band, like choreographed
Did you have to
dances.
do K-San?
No, thank God.
What? What?
No.
A disgrace.
No.
What?
But, we used to go on after the wet T-shirt competition.
Okay, wow. How do you follow that?
Yeah. But that's how we got in contact.
talking.
So we got talking on Facebook, and you were up in the Goldie, and I was living in Sydney. And,
You were going through some stuff, and I gave you a call. We had a chat.
Yeah, and, you were like, well, we're going to be touring Sydney, so come to a show, and you guys were playing at Sylvania at the Crest Hotel.
That's right, the Crest Hotel. Yeah. Right. And Sean was the support act to Niagara and the Hitmen. Now, we'd have a first band on, and then Sean would come in and do the middle spot, bring it down a little bit with his acoustic guitar and his crazy songs, and then the Hitmen would come on, and then Niagara would play. But Moggy and Sean met that night. I introduced them that night in April 2010.
Yeah.
How did he introduce me?
Moggy, this is the devil. I said, hi, devil.
And then I was leaving that night saying goodbye, and I was waving back from a distance to both of them.
Wow.
They were going left.
How long ago was that?
And I was going right.
6 years ago now.
Wow. Yeah. Look at him. You're a handsome bastard, aren't you, Sean?
The crazy thing is, we'll talk about that as well. The crazy thing is we live down the street from Sylvania Hotel now. We pretty much live where we met, which is also crazy. Just the synchronicities, and even us being here tonight. We're up here for a wedding. I was best man for my best mate's wedding last night. And it just so happens that Johnny was doing this with you today, and here it is all intertwining again. It's pretty crazy. Hey?
I also found, it was about 3 years after we'd met, and we were living in the area, and I had a huge birthday party there, and I booked out the Crest.
That's right.
And we went backstage, and, the walls are completely bare, except for still on the wall was the run sheet
saw that picture.
of the gig I met.
Was the
Sean.
only thing on the wall.
Was
Yeah,
the only
the run
thing on
sheet.
the wall.
From that Hitman gig.
Yeah, I had Hazel Eyes the Devil, Hitman, Niagara, and it was like, so I took it. It was like, it was
So Sean had a good time on tour, and he met Moggy, and he came to Melbourne with us. I think Melbourne was our first shows. Is that right, Melbourne?
I think it was Queensland first, then Melbourne, then Sydney.
Oh, something like that. Wow. But when we were in Melbourne, no, I think it was Melbourne because didn't you first meet the crew in Melbourne, and they gave you a bit of a hard time?
That is true. Yeah. In Geelong, I think, was the first show.
Geelong was the first show.
You're right.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. We had a great time, and Sean loved, being there on stage through a good sound system and lights and a road crew and
a crowd that was already, a room full of people.
And the next night we were playing in town, and after his show, he kind of left his gear in the corner of the dressing room, and then later, when the whole night was over, he kind of disappeared. And the road crew, you know what they're like. After every gig, they do what we call an idiot check. They check for what's been left behind, and they're looking everywhere. And they're going, Sean's fucking guitar and his fucking gig bag and
His whole
where's
setup.
Sean?